Ah! Ow! Hello everyone and welcome back for the last time to the worst countdown to Halloween. We are finally almost done and we will be looking at by far Steam's worst horror games in terms of reviews, Real Horror Stories Ultimate Edition. Developed by Game Or and published by Strategy First, this is Game Or's first and only game. Strategy First Incorporated, however, is a much more established company. It is a subsidiary of Silver Star Holdings and they released their first game in 1995 and has since then published 325 games. Real Horror Stories Ultimate Edition was released in 2014 and has 944 reviews, and out of those, almost 600 of them are negative. People say, absolute game. Series of JPEGs where your clicked low-res corpses. In terms of mandatory jump scare, it wishes occurs and you are presented the next JPEG. A few years ago, a lot of people made these kinds of flash entertainment for free, but now you get them for $$ on Steam. Pathetic. The point of this point-and-click adventure game is that you're discovering a satanic cult. You wander through different places, discovering newspapers saying stuff about women and children going missing. You do puzzles as you get farther and farther into the demonic rabbit hole, sometimes literally, and eventually, someone, maybe Satan I think, offers you 2 pills. Doesn't tell you what they are, so it doesn't actually have any moral reason which one you choose. Before we go a little bit more in depth, I want to say that the title of this game is just a straight up lie. This isn't real, this isn't scary, and it's just one story. This isn't Real Horror Stories, it's just story. I guess it can be called Ultimate Edition because it is an improvement on the original, which was just a browser game, but that just means you're paying $2 for a 45-minute free browser game with barely any changes. With that side tangent, let us actually play Story Ultimate Edition. You begin in this area with a tree dripping blood and a little house on stilts with a candle inside. Clicking on the area where the blood is dripping from reveals a bleeding doll. I will admit this, however, and it's just that I clicked around a whole bunch and eventually completed the puzzle. I don't even know how I did it. I eventually got this picture of a child and then I got jump scared and it brought me to the next area. This is how I completed most of the game. For puzzles I didn't know how to complete, I just clicked around until something happened. And because of this, if I do not know how to solve a room's puzzles, I'll just go through the results of the puzzles and not how to complete the puzzle. The next room has a swing and a crying grandma. After completing the puzzle which involves a baby's head, the grandma explodes and you get a newspaper telling you the disappearance of a young woman. This next puzzle is fairly simple because it's literally just a puzzle, with the newspaper as puzzle pieces. I actually hated this because I kept clicking away when trying to grab pieces of the newspaper, and whenever you do this, it just resets the entire puzzle. The next area I spent so long trying to figure out, the game just said, you know what, here's the answer, and I still don't know how to beat it. The puzzle after that was yet another one where I clicked around and eventually a body disappeared and then it brought me to this tombstone. This tombstone has a finicky puzzle. You have to draw a pentagram. I kept not doing it right and had to restart. I wouldn't have minded this puzzle if it was just less annoying to complete because I think it's decently understandable. And after you make the pentagram, it lowers the tombstone and you go into a cave. I literally do not and still do not know how to complete this room, so we're skipping it. The next puzzle I had to look up because I didn't know which candles to pick and I still don't even see how you're supposed to correctly figure it out other than just guess. If you're curious, this is the answer. This next puzzle is not really a puzzle because you just click these 3 things, body, Satan, and the pentagram over and over again, and that is literally how you complete it. Like, no joke. You then go into hell, where you see 2 men being crucified. You cause one of them to explode by clicking on him, and you cause this man, who I think is a bishop, to get struck by lightning by clicking on this fire hole. Sorry, father. I hated this next puzzle. It's another one I had to look up. What you need to do is you need to click the first body and then click the first scar on the mountain. It will drop a second body and you have to click the first body once, the second body 2 times, and then click the second star. And you do the same thing with the third body. And then you just get jump scared and put in the next room. This next room is actually great though, because it's where you get to stab a baby multiple times. So, you know me, I did not hesitate to do so. The child's blood tells you what symbols you need to solve this puzzle. It's pretty simple, you just match them. Have you ever played the Simon memory game thing? The thing that lights up and you have to press the buttons in order and it makes noise? Do that for this puzzle, and that's all. This next puzzle is annoying because what you need to do is make a blood trail from one pool of blood to the other, but you can't take the shortest path. You have to take a specific path you cannot see, so the whole thing is just trial and error, which is not a great way to design a puzzle in my opinion. Remember the memory puzzle we just talked about? This is another one, except instead of symbols, it's with people screaming. So that's fun, I guess. And this is the last puzzle, and I had to look it up. The answer is Belial. I'm not sure how you pronounce the name, but he is the devil according to the New Testament. And I didn't know that, and I wish the game gave you hints because I am not religious, so I had no fucking idea this is the answer. I don't think I've even read the New Testament. And after all of that, you're done with the game. You cause this person to fall in a hole, and you're offered two things. I don't know what they are, they're just balls of light. And you're done with the game. The left thing leaves you alive, but you're forever scared knowing demons are real, and the other path leads you to eternal damnation, where you're tortured forever but never killed. And we're done with the game. So as always, for the last time in the series, let us go over my issues with it. The puzzles are nonsensical sometimes, requiring you to guess or have background knowledge without telling you that the said background knowledge is necessary. The next problem is the game is the same thing over and over again. Solve puzzles, get jump scared, move to the next room, repeat. It's all that and it's pretty boring. The next problem, even though it's called Real Horror Stories Ultimate Edition, and even though we established there's one story, there's still not even really a story. It hyped it up that it was a story in the same description, but I still do not know who you are, why you're on this path, is this the same story, or anything. I really don't know, and it just left me so confused, and not in a good way. And finally, with what seems to be a theme with this series, except for this exception, this game is too short. I completed both endings in less than 45 minutes, which I guess you know what time it means. To conclude with this review, don't buy it. Even for $1 like I did, it isn't worth your time. I didn't give that many problems, but that is because those problems are so prevalent throughout the entire game. It's not just this room had this problem, this room had a different problem. The whole game was like that. I got so bored halfway through, I just started listening to SpongeBob because I wanted to be entertained. Now before we end, I'll rank all these games one last time. Instead of doing like playing for 30 minutes or 100% completion like the last two times, I'm just going to rank them as is, as games. And in my opinion, the best game we played was Flightmare. I only hated it because of how dark it was, but I actually kind of liked it. Other than that, I do look fondly on it, and I just wish it was brighter. The second best game was Joe's Diner. It was the only game I had fun with. It just took too long to complete, and it was boring. The third best game, I'm actually going to put as this one. Even though I have my problems with it, and I do really dislike it, it at least has some meat on its bones, unlike the other two. The second worst game I played was County Hospital 2. Even though it was literally dog shit, it at least had gameplay, which I can't say for the worst game I played in the series, The Tower, which you probably expected. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the series with me. This project is kind of stressful, and it didn't help that I started halfway through October with the deadline being Halloween, but I did have fun making it. This has been my first independent content I made in a while, and I'm glad you all enjoyed. But before I leave, I do need to thank Alex, not just for letting me post videos here, but also for making the amazing thumbnails for his series. I didn't even ask him to, he just did it because he's such a great friend. For the short foreseeable future, I am going to take a small break from making videos. I just feel a little burnt out after making this series, but I'm definitely going to be back because I did enjoy making, editing, and scripting these videos. I know Alex is in the process of editing a video that we recorded a while back, but that still might take him a while since he's in college right now, as am I. So for that video he's editing, expect that within a couple months, probably before the end of the year. And one last message of warning, don't play bad games ironically, because they're going to be shit and you might not have fun. See you later, nerders.